So we take a time out. What else can we do? Faith, what else can we do? The third one down there.
Deep breathing.
We can take a minute to just breathe for a second, step back, look at the situation, maybe from a different angle, maybe from a different perspective. Our fourth thing down says what? Exercise. So if you're maybe the person that says clenching your fists or screaming, maybe a way to release some of that anger is to exercise, right? Okay, so as we go down here underneath exercise, it says to, Logan? Express your anger. Read that one.
Once you calm down, express your frustration. Try to be assertive, but not confrontational. Expressing your anger will help avoid the same problems in the future.
So what does express your anger mean?
Tell someone.
Tell someone?
Hit them.
Talk about it? It does not mean
Always works.
hit somebody.
If you're mad, like if I'm mad at somebody.
Get hit something.
Just gotta go to hit 'em.
Something. Okay, so Adrian said hit something. So maybe if you had something in your room, and that would also be considered that exercise. Okay, it says in here, once you've calmed down, then express your frustration. Okay, it says try to be assertive, which means you want to get your point across, but not confrontational. So you want to be firm in how you speak to that person, but you don't want to be confrontational. And why? Because everybody's going to end up in trouble, and we don't want that. All right, so we are going to take what we've learned here, and if you flip it over, flip it open, here is a survey, okay? And our survey says read the triggers and check off the ones that make you angry, similar to what we did in the beginning. On the bottom of the page, it wants you to write in 5 triggers of your own that may not have been listed. So you're just reading through and you're going to check off the ones that apply to you. Alright, so what are some of the things that cause anger? What are some of the things that cause us to be frustrated? Give you just a few more minutes to kind of write some in there. Alright, somebody give me a hand. Of this list at the top, what is something that causes you to become angry or that triggers your anger? Adrian?
You were pushed aside when you were asking for help.
Okay, can you explain a little bit?
Like, I'll ask the teacher to
Mhm.
explain it one more time, but then she'll just continue to go on the lesson, and it's
Yeah, very frustrating. Logan?
Teacher giving you work.
Teacher's giving you work. Okay. Anything else? Ian?
Someone telling me that I'm weak.
Somebody telling you that you're weak. Okay. Very good. Any of my girls have anything that triggers? Chelsea?
Someone telling you you can't do something.
Very
To
good.
me, that just makes me want to prove it.
Very good.
Don't get mad.
Graciela?
Someone who blames you for something you didn't do.
Yeah. Yep, very good. All very good answers. So we're gonna break into groups and we are gonna use what we've learned. We're gonna use this paper here. We know what triggers us and we know what to look for, our warning signs. We know some coping skills that we can use. So we're gonna break into groups and we're gonna do a little exercise. You can spread out if you need to. We'll just have group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4. You can spread out if you need to. You're all gonna work together. I'm gonna give you, each person in your group is gonna get an index card and a color M&M. And the color of the M&M has a task. You all can eat some M&Ms when we're finished. Jacqueline? Kylie? Okay. So you're gonna get a scenario. Each group's gonna get a scenario, okay? And you're gonna get one bag of M&Ms to begin with per group, so you can have each color that you need. All right. So here's scenario 1, which is gonna be y'all, and here's scenario 2, which is gonna be y'all. Okay. All right. So you can move around because you're gonna need to communicate with your groups, right? You can go on that side if you need to. Just get in a group there with your members.
This whole group. I'm sitting.
Jax, come over here.
So wait, are this
Move up here. Move up there. Chelsea, Kylie, y'all wanna come up here? Right here, yeah. What? Boys. There you go.
scenario 1?
Alright, so each group member takes a color, okay? The colors and what you're supposed to do are right up here. Each group member takes a color. You have blue, right? You're supposed to state one thing you can do to calm the situation. Orange, red, green, yellow, black. Yeah.
Don't look when they do. We all have to get one. Don't look when you try to grab one. Just do it like random. Do it like me. But if you grab the same color as he does.
This is y'all's logo right here.
Say one thing you can do to calm.
Y'all have the right colors there. Y'all have all the right colors? Alright.
Okay, Della.
Okay.
You must grab a good choice that could help the situation. Me not caring about you.
There is no black in here.
It's gonna be that brown.
There's none.
Okay. Alright, so what's your thing? What's your situation?
We don't have red or
For your room,
Alright, so if you have blue, then on your tab on your card, you're gonna write what you need in situation.
Okay. How many are we
Each person gets a blank
Gets off there.
I'm sorry.
We didn't have red or black that was black.
Why?
It's brown. Red in there. There's no brown in there.
So funny, y'all get ready.
We have one more. Like it's on the back. Oh, you read it on the back.
It's an extra show. This is situational, Jacqueline.
Yeah, and then you write whatever you're supposed to get. What color is it?
No.
Wait, put them down. I'm so confused.
Alright, I'm gonna give you about 5 more minutes.
We need like blue.
I got the blue.
You need a call down the window.
I'm gonna do black. A choice that would make my even worse than the mom could come
So
up
apply that to your situation.
like get a private investigation and like tell
So Lauren says one thing that triggers anger. Apply that to your situation.
No. No.
I appreciate it. He felt like he was doing all that work.
About 4 more minutes.
For which one?
Yeah, we see. I guess they were
No, you're cashier. Yeah.
I'm really
Yeah.
hungry.
I know a good choice.
So what you're doing is to trigger that anger.
I know a good one.
Alright, 2 more minutes and then we're gonna come back together. Everybody.
Okay, so listen, I chose black. The mom can hire a private investigator to get secrets about Kelly and then blackmail her. That can make it work. Give me one.
Zach. Do it.
I said yellow.
Want to hear mine?
Yes.
Do their own thing.
Oh, it's because
And
it's
also the
melting,
mom
that's why.
could hire a private investigator to get secrets about Kelly and then go and blackmail her. That could make it so much worse. I got black.
Worse. Yes. Good.
But I'm smart.
Very good. We'll come back together, Ellie. Alright, 1 more minute.
Put it right there.
Okay, give me Everybody finished? Y'all finished? Are y'all finished? Are y'all finished? Okay, one more minute.
Describe a good.
What are you thinking of? It says, describe a good choice that could help the situation. Just let the team do their own thing.
But he's doing everything and no.
Just let
It's called a team. There's no I in team, so he might as well just shut up.
Alright, so let's bring y'all back together. Everybody get back in your regular seats.
Go.
Take your papers and your cards.
Alright. I had this one too. I had this.
Chloe, I was so detailed on. We had 2 tests.
Okay. Who had scenario 1? Who had scenario number 1?
Wait, what?
It had the number on your paper.
Oh,
You have 1? 3? Go ahead, 1. Ian, read it for me real quick.
Why me?
Whoever can read. Alright, come on.
George works hard as a baseball player and feels the other baseball players are not carrying their weight. This is causing conflict among the team. George decides to talk about the other players with his friends that aren't on the team. This causes confusion and conflict among the boys in his grade.
How many of you have ever been on a team? Okay. Alright, hands down. If you have a situation in that team and somebody goes outside of that team and talks about that situation to others, how does that affect the team?
That's like the cheer drama.
So how would it is, how would that affect the team? What does that do to the team?
People can know their ideas.
Yeah, well, what did you say, Gracie?
People can like know their ideas and like get better, and then they know what they're gonna do, so they can try to like.
Okay, so that's a good way to look at it, but actually we're talking about if something bad is happening within the team, there's some conflict within the team, and then somebody goes outside and tells that, what'd you say, Hunter? It brings the team down. It doesn't make the team look very good, and if you're a team, you have to play together, and if people are turning on each other, it splits them up. Is that good for the team? No. Is that good for anybody? If you're friends with somebody, let's say Zach and Hunter are good friends. Well, if Zach and Hunter get into an argument and Hunter involves somebody else in that argument, now he's involving a third party into that argument. These two might get over it. They might be best friends the next day, but now you've brought somebody else into it. And now that other person is in a bad situation because they're in between these two. How many of you have ever done that or been involved in that before? Yep.
All the girls.
Mostly girls, yeah.
I raised my hand, so.
So,
Just fight invite each other's house, fight.
okay. And keyword is that invite you to your house away from the school.
It's all cash.
Always with the guys. They fight and then they
Right,
go back.
so naturally,
Kinsley did that.
naturally our boys are going to be a little bit more aggressive. However, in reality, look, in reality, girls and guys, can you do that when you are outside of middle school? No. So you need to learn now how to cope with those feelings, because when you are 15 and 16 and you're working and you have a problem with somebody at your work, you can't just go outside and have it out with that person physically and expect to keep your job. Doubt it.
If the person's fine with it, then you're good.
Right, so. Alright, so who had situation 2? 2, alright. Read it, Adrian.
Okay.
They were all brown.
During her recent lunch date with her best friend, Mary, Tabitha shares personal details about her parents. Their waitress, Shelley, overhears some details of confidential information and shares the information with the other waitresses. Eventually, her mom finds out.
confidential means what? Anybody know? Give me a hand if you know. Adrian? Secret. Private between the two of you. So if you share information with someone, that someone is supposed to be a trusted person, right? And so if they share that information with somebody else, what are those feelings there? How does that make you feel? What? Murderous intent. So it makes you angry, right? So how can you fix that situation? What is the best possible option to fix or to handle that situation? Did y'all come up with a good option? If somebody, you confide in somebody and then they take that information out to the world and share it with everybody else, what do you do? How do you handle that situation? Grace? Grace Hill?
You say it's a lie?
You could say it's a lie. Not tell them anything anymore? I mean, could you go to that person? Yes. Could you talk to that person? Yes.
I don't understand though. That's like life now. Like if you go to that person and they've been talking about you already, they're just gonna be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then like.
So okay, so here's what we learned. She said if you go to that person, they might say that they're sorry, but they might do it again. Well, you have to make the choice to say, I'm not going to tell this person anything anymore. And then everything is fine, and you're both going your separate ways, but that person knows that it wasn't the right thing to do, and that person, and you know not to confide in or to confide either those types of things or to confide in that person anymore. Okay? Who had my 3? Go ahead, Hunter.
He recently purchased a pair of shoes, and the store clerk was very rude and unhelpful. He returned to the shoe store to let them know how unhappy you were with your service by the store clerk. You have to speak to the manager, Bella. Bella then loudly argues with you, and you have a heated argument in full view of all the waiting customers.
Okay, so you're in the store, they're not helping you, or they're helping you sort of, but they're very rude, and you're not getting the response that you're looking for. They're causing this big commotion in front of everybody. This is personally one of my things because I don't like to be embarrassed. And so I don't like to cause a confrontation in front of people. So how do we stop this situation? How do we make this better? Jax?
Ignore them and just go to the manager.
There you go. There you go. Ignore them. Walk away from the situation. Find somebody above them.
Go to the store clerk then. Be like, hey, can you help me with this?
Call somebody.
I want to
Call the regional manager.
Call up
There's always someone higher.
So there you go. Adrian said there's always somebody higher up. So if you can't deal with the person in the store, then you need to step away from the situation, remove yourself from that situation, and call somebody, right? There's always a number that you can call, somebody to give you some kind of help. If you've got something like a technical difficulty and they say call this number, if you call that number and somebody rude answers the phone, hang up. Call it again, you'll get a different person.
And if they touch you, just bring it on to self-defense.
All right, I need my step.